I'm back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today is my spoiler review of the My Hero Academia movie World Heroes Mission. Now, this movie just came out, and I watched it, and now I've done a non-spoiler review, and now I'm doing a spoiler review. Now, if you want to see this movie but haven't, I don't know why you clicked on this video, because spoilers are clearly in the title. But if you just accidentally click this video and don't want any spoilers, I'll give you 10 seconds to leave the video. Alright? Alright, if you have not left the video yet, you have been warned. Okay, let's get into the plot, okay? So, essentially what is going on here is that you have a group of basically kind of terrorist group that call themselves the Humanizers, and they find that Quirks is a nuisance to society. And if you don't understand Quirks yet because you haven't seen, well, I'm assuming that if you are watching this video, you have seen the movie and have an understanding of what Quirks are, so I'm not going to go in depth on what they are. If you want to understand what they are, you can either look them up or watch my non-spoiler review. But that's besides the point. Yeah, so the guys hate Quirks. I think it's a nuisance, and their whole backing up to this is that the Quirk Doomsday or whatever theory that as people have as heroes with different quirks come together and they have children, and then those children have a combination of quirks, and then those children and so on, that children can't even handle all the quirks, that it would just ruin and kill, or will wipe out the human race. There isn't enough evidence for that. That it's just a theory in the world of My Hero Academia, and it's problematic. Or they think it's problematic. These people think it's problematic, and so they're here to wipe out everyone with quirks. And they have these bombs that activate, and they basically kind of take where the bomb activates, people's quirks activate really intensely to the point that it kills them. And that's kind of really the opening shot to the movie. It's pretty brutal. An opening shot to the movie of seeing a bunch of people dying because of this bomb. Now, it turns out later that these guys are hypocrites, because the leader, named Reflector, his quirk is Reflect, but he hates that because he feels that everyone rejected him because of this quirk he has. But in reality, Midoriya at the end of the movie gives him tells him the truth, that he just didn't try. And that's kind of the point there. But the point is that all the world heroes have to work together to stop these guys, because they're world terrorists bent on killing 80% of the population. So that leaves the 20% that didn't have quirks alive, and the end of quirks. But they plan on leading this 20%, even though they have quirks. So you can see the hypocrisy here, right? Because, it's not even a full 80%, because they're not going to kill themselves. They have plans on leading these people leading these non-quirk humans into the new age. So it's like, okay. But yeah. If you have been watching the 5th season, you know that Midoriya, Shoto, and Bakugo are all working for Shoto's father in his agency. So they are them and his father as well. Now his father is Endeavor. So Endeavor and Midoriya, Bakugo, Shoto, and all the other heroes and sidekicks that work at the agency, that Endeavor's agency, attack one building, supposedly supposed to be the headquarters of the Humanizers. And then you have other groups, made up of both Class B and Class A. So you get to see all the Class A pretty much at this point right away. But the movie is not their main. They're not really important in the show. They brief. They're more like cameos here and there throughout the movie. It mostly focuses on Midoriya, Shoto, and Bakugo. Mostly Midoriya because obviously he's the main character, and then this other dude that we meet later in the movie called Rudy Soul. But they attack these buildings, and it turns out they're empty. And this is really bad because they really need to defeat these humanizers before before they're all wiped out. Well, now they're trying to figure out where these people are. Midoriya, Shoto, and Bakugo are just walking around the city they're in, and then they discover a shop gets robbed. Well, they chase these guys down. Now, in a later scene, I wouldn't say later, it might be before this, but we see Rudy Soul and his two younger siblings, a girl and a boy. I don't know their names off the hand. They're in this book because this pretty much tells you everything, which is actually pretty cool book that we got from the. I think it tells us it's a pretty good book that we got through the movie, and it has a bunch of art stuff in here, and it has a little bit of a manga thing. Tells you a little bit about the characters and their quirks, so it's pretty good stuff here. So yeah, so Rudy Soul, does it say? Okay, the little boy, the younger brother is Roro. No, it's probably Roro Soul, and then the girl is Lala Soul. But they're all kind of living in a trailer home in like a very bad dumps type of area because apparently they don't have any parents. Their mother died at a young. I think died after Lala was born. I think that's what happened. And if I recall correctly, because it has been a while since I've seen the movie, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. But he kind of provides for his siblings by kind of doing odd jobs that aren't necessarily legal. Like in this case, and what's about to happen is that he's supposed to get the case of jewels and bring it, and he is going to get money for it. And this is when he runs into Midoriya, and Midoriya chases after him. But then there was a whole other accident where you have a humanizer guy trying to actually deflect from the humanizers, and it turns out he actually helped create these bombs. And he in this case has something that will allow them to stop the bombs. Well, another humanizer who has a quirk. Her name is I forgot her name. It was also in here. Burroughs, I think is her name. Yeah, Burroughs. So Burroughs, she has a bow and arrow, so she can. Basically, I think what it says that she turns her arm into an arrow, and then, or not a bow. I mean, not an arrow, a bow, and then she has a pack with arrows, and she puts it in and launches, and it does it gets charged with some type of power and attack. So that's what happens. Now, this guy, I think, dies in the accident because he was driving in a vehicle or a bus, I think, and when she attacked him, he dies. But he let go of the suit at the same time because of this accident. Rudy loses the suitcase. Now, they thought that then he immediately got up, and Midoriya's following them, and he finds the case. He thought he found the case with the jewels, but he actually grabbed the case that the humanizers want. And the Burroughs got the case with the jewels and found out it was a case of jewels. And then it turns out this humanizers has paid off the police, and so they put Midoriya and Rudy in a wanted list saying that he killed innocent civilians. So now they're on the run. They're trying to get out of this country to get into the border of the next country. And that's kind of what is going on here. And Shoto and Bakugo try to help him and them. Now, at one point, Rudy and Midoriya are not the best of friends right now. They're not liking each other and stuff like that. Now, Rudy has a bird with him that always follows him, a pink bird named Pino. It actually turns out that it's part of his quirk. See, it's a really lame quirk, but basically every time when like the bird always tells the truth, um, where or essentially it basically whatever he is, it kind of shows the bird shows his true feelings or thoughts or what he's saying if it's true. So if he's saying something true, the bird would say something saying is true. If he's lying, the bird would tell and he would say that he's lying. So he can never really lie. It's kind of a lame quirk, but it's interesting. But it did help him later in the movie to save everyone, actually, but that's besides the point. He's on the run. They're on the run. Well, he decides to betray Midori because he's not really liking it. He doesn't want to be on the run. He wants to help his siblings because of siblings and stuff like that. And so he calls the police, and then they kind of show Burroughs, and this guy transforms into a weird creature, finds them and tries to attack them. And Midori gets shot by one of her arrows, but they were able to escape, and they get a truck and they go into this cliff area. They're really close to the border, but then Boros shows up in a helicopter with another guy who can control these big giant cannonball things that he can launch, and they're attacked. But this is when Bakugo and show up and save them, and then it leads to and obviously over this time, Rudy and Midori really become friends and stuff like that. And it turns out that Rudy's siblings also have quirks too, and he's worried that they're going to be affected by these bombs, and so that's why he's going to join in this. But it also turns out that his father, we found out earlier that his father disappeared, and that's why he left them on their own. Well, it turns out he was actually captured by the humanizers to work on these bombs. Unfortunately, he decided to betray the humanizers and got killed, which is what the guy who originally took the suitcase and ran, who's also died, said in a video telling them about this chip and the location. And Bakugo kind of hacked into the thing and figured out exactly where the humanizer's exact location is. And so the three of them go attack the Rudy's kind of a inspiring pilot, so he gets them on a plane and they go to this island. Well, everyone else is where basically this guy is the guy who the reflectors decided to be nice and show all the good guys where the bombs are. But obviously, it's not going to be easy for them to get access to it because obviously they're going to be humanizers who are going to stop them. That also have quirks. Like most of the humanizers have quirks. It's really this entire organization is really is full of hypocrisy. It's really, but that's besides the point. So they go attacking the building, but they get stopped one by one. Bakugo has to deal with these two twins that has these knife and tentacle sharp tentacle things out of their arms and stuff, and they're called serpentine. Then Sho has to fight off this monster looking thing that can manipulate water and fire. What was his name? I forgot. He's in this book too. Let's see. Where are they? Leviathan is its name. And then obviously Midoriya goes off and face off the main leader, Reflector, and this is where he reveals his powers to reflect anything. So anything Midoriya does, it's just going to reflect back at him really badly. Now Rudy shows up, grabbing the chip from Midoriya and saying he's going to give the chip to this guy and stuff like that. Because he wants to save his siblings and whatever. He thought this could, but in reality, Pino's saying he's lying to Midoriya. So Midoriya knows the truth, and this allows them to trick and Midoriya attacks Reflector, and Rudy tries going to where go through these doors that leads to where all the bombs are connected and stuff like that in all the different locations around the world. But in the process, he gets shot with a laser in his stomach, really bleeding. So he's really slowly walking there, and even thought he died. And he's like, "Oh, both a waste, both of his father and himself both die a useless way. He's not dead really, but Midoriya, they battle more. Bakugo defeats the Serpentine. Shoto beats Leviathan, although it took really long. And Midoriya eventually does defeat Reflector because Reflector, there was a limit how much reflection he can reflect, which he didn't know. But Midoriya kept getting stronger and stronger throughout the battle, and this is how he defeated Reflector. And then he goes off. Really, he thought the bombs, but before Reflection goes off, the time runs out, and the bombs are supposedly supposed to all go off. And the other heroes did manage to try to get them away from the city to do less damage, but they never went off. And the Reflection was confused by this because we never saw Rudy thought to be dead on the floor. Well, Midoriya goes and finds them, and it turns out that Pino, although we thought he disappeared when Rudy fainted, actually got the chip into the wall. And he's not dead. Though the amount of blood he lost, he should technically be dead, but whatever. And then it's kind of a happy ending. The humanizers are arrested. Everyone starts to go home. Rudy and kind of Midoriya have this one type of, one final goodbye and to always be friends and stuff before they go back home. And then in the credits, we just see a bunch of images and stuff like that. We get to see that Rudy is actually trained to become a pilot now. Well, first he goes and works in the bar or restaurant that for the guy that kept giving him the odd jobs from earlier. But then he's trained to become a pilot. To get Mayano to help his siblings because they're in a really bad shape. And then there's also a picture on the wall of Shoto, Midoriya, and Bakugo on there. So that's kind of interesting. But that's pretty much where the movie ends. And I have to say, the story, I love the story. I think even though the villains are very hypocrite, I think they're even though they're hypocrites, I think they're still well written. We understand why the Reflector doesn't like the quirks and feels like it's all a problem. It's because he's always felt like he's been rejected by everyone because of his power, and that's so. I think even though he's very much of a hypocrite, there's still makes sense of why he did this organization, and I think that was really well done. Midoriya, Shoto, and Rudy, all of them are really lovable characters. I mean, at first you don't really like Rudy as a character, but you really do grow on him. He does really you do eventually like his character. Pino was definitely a little bit more interesting than Rudy. But his quirk is kind of lame, but it's what it is, Not all quirks around My Hero Academia are all that well. I mean, the first person who had a quirk just glow. So, it's there are lame quirks out there. But other than that, all the characters enjoyable, the villain's good, the writing is really well done and believable. It totally makes sense that this would have happened within My Hero Academia. And that's pretty much all my thoughts on it. I definitely do recommend watching this movie. And sorry about that, I got cut off. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you are new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know if for my next upload. My YouTube channel website link, my Twitter, my Snapchat, and Instagram are all in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.